We welcome you to In the Trenches. Eagles insider Dave Spadaro along with the Hall of Famer Brian Westbrook. And we're looking at Sunday's overtime loss to Tennessee where the defense, Brian, struggled once again. Big plays in the passing game, lack of containment against a very mobile quarterback. And at the end of the game in overtime, 3 opportunities on 4th down to get off the field. Agonizing.
Good teams do a couple of things. They're consistent, they tackle, they pressure the quarterback, and when they have an opportunity, interceptions, they do that. But other opportunities, 3rd and long, 4th and long, they get off the field. Defensively, we didn't do that yesterday, and that is directly resulting from the loss.
So it looks like the Eagles are really good at stopping the run. Best in the league.
Yeah.
Now, let's focus on the pass defense. What do? I mean, quarterbacks are going to get the football out of their hands very quickly.
Yes.
They're going to not throw with any fear at a secondary that appears to be playing off a bit, a little hesitant perhaps. I mean, what are you seeing when you watch this?
I'm seeing a very passive secondary, a team that with our corners are playing 7-8 yards off the line of scrimmage and are giving up 8-yard out routes, giving up 3-yard slants. They're giving up every easy pass that were contested last year. And it's almost like they're counting on the front 4 to get all the pressure. And if they don't, we're conceding 7-8 yards down the field. We're not that type of defense. We're an aggressive, in-your-face, smash-mouth type of defense. What happens, Dave, is that when you give up the big play, especially early on in the game, we saw it last week against Tampa Bay, now defensively you play different. I think the confidence of the players and the coach to call those aggressive defense changes when you give up those big plays.
And I got to tell you, I thought that the game really turned around after the Carson Wentz touchdown pass to Alshon Jeffrey, 17-3, midway through the 3rd quarter. And then the Titans took the football right down the field on the Eagles' defense, and it was too easy. It was pitch and catch from Mariota to his receivers. It was Mariota running the football, breaking containment. It was the Titans moving the football in the run game, just enough to keep the Eagles' defense honest. It was the Eagles backing off instead of moving forward and attacking Tennessee. And that changed the entire momentum in the game.
One of the things when we faced him when we played Michael Vick way back in the day, we knew he had an arm. We knew he can throw it 80 yards down the field. But we were scared, afraid of his legs, his ability to break, contain, and run the ball because now defensively, if you're playing man-to-man, your back is to the quarterback. So if they break, contain, at that point, no one's there. We saw that yesterday with Marcus Mariota. We saw that, and when you're watching the film, the week before when Tennessee played Jacksonville, they have an aggressive defense as well. They got their containment broken by Mariota several times, and that changed the course of that football game. Disciplined football doesn't allow for a quarterback to break, contain, especially if you know that's what he's going to do. I think the Eagles also were a bit surprised, not by Mariota's arm strength, but his willingness to throw the ball down the field. I watched the game the week before against the Jags. He didn't throw the ball over 10 yards but one time, Dave. This week against us, he threw the ball down the field as often as he wanted to and took advantage of our defense.
We'll talk about some suggestions on what you might do here moving forward, but let's go back to Sunday here, overtime. With all that said here, Eagles still have a chance to win the football game in overtime. Jake Elliott kicks a field goal. Hooray, the Eagles have a 23-20 lead. And the Titans are facing 4th and 15. I'm standing on the sidelines with Ray Doyle. We're ready to go out and do some interviews with some players. 4th and 15. And Tennessee converts 4th and 15. What happened on that play? How do you let a receiver get beyond the sticks on the sidelines wide open?
Well, the Eagles are playing a soft zone, basically not to give up the first down, not to give up the 15 yards. And unfortunately, there's a communication lapse or there's just a bad play by Corey Graham. He, instead of saying, I'm going to get to 15 yards and anything in front of me, I'm going to come up and make the tackle, he said, okay, I'm going to allow the receiver. There's actually nothing in front of him for him to be guarding. The receiver just flips in behind him and catches the ball. I mean, it's a wide open play, a 3-4 step drop for Mariota, and he unleashes it. And it's a pretty wide open play defensively. Bad communication, and that, to me, starts from the coach all the way down. Players, you have to understand the situation. This is situational football. If it's 4th and 15, the one thing you can't give up is the 16-yard out on the sideline. You can't do that. That's bad football.
4th down, number 2. The Titans go into a pass formation. Sidney Jones gets called for pass interference. And again, running onto the field, ready to do interviews, and we see the yellow flag. And but Sidney Jones, aggressive there. I thought it was a tough call.
I think he was very aggressive. Anytime, you can call it a hometown call if you want. I think that he grabbed the receiver's arm just a little bit there. He got spun around, and anytime you spin the receiver around, even just a little bit, in this day and age, in this football setting, they're going to call a penalty, especially when you're on the road. Bad call from our view. I think if you're the Titans fan, you're saying it's a great call.
4th and 2. Will the Titans kick a field goal? 50-yard attempt. Ryan Suckup. They call timeout. Mike Vrabel, we've been reading about it for the last day or so here. He was going to go for it the entire time, and what he did was get the ball out to Dion Lewis in the open field, and that's very tough to stop.
Dion Lewis is, back in the day, the Patriots had Kevin Falk, third down specialist, a guy that you hand the ball off that does a lot of different things. That's what Dion Lewis's role for the Titans has been. He's done a great job of running the football. Darren Sproles, he's doing a great job of catching the ball out of the backfield, one-on-one with a linebacker. It's just hard to cover him.
And then even 3rd down from the 10-yard line, if the Eagles get a stop there, I mean, it's not great, but you still have a tie opportunity. Instead, no pressure on Mariota. Throws it up high, touchdown in the end zone.
Pressure was an issue all day long. Receivers running wide open downfield was an issue all day long. That's something that we have to find a way to fix. And I think it's going to be a mix of zone, man, but also having our DBs play more aggressive. They're better at the line of scrimmage, disrupting passers and receivers at the line of scrimmage, opposed to being laid off and then trying to catch up with guys. That's not their role.
So clearly the Eagles, without Rodney McLeod, some communication issues and some deep coverage issue. Avonte Maddox had a nice interception, but still, there were too many open holes down the field. Brian, what are you doing if you're Jim Schwartz?
You know, I'm going back to fundamentals. I'm talking about tackling. There's a lot of missed tackles. I'm talking about coverages. I want everybody to understand we don't have McLeod back here to kind of make up for us. We have to make sure that we understand exactly what the coverages are. And now I'm having a frank, honest conversation with my front four. Listen, we're not going to be successful if you guys can't find a way to get pressure. You guys have done it in the past. We know that you're good enough to do it. It has to happen every single game. And if that can happen, we can win some football games.
And it doesn't get any easier for the Eagles' defense with Minnesota rested after the mini-bye week. Kirk Cousins, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, etc. A high-powered offense, particularly in the passing game, coming to Lincoln Financial Field on summer. That is in the trenches and not a very positive one for the Eagles after an overtime loss on Sunday. Brian Westbrook, Dave Spadaro, thanks for joining us.